How long do you think your business could survive without you? A month maybe, or a week? What about a year? So in 2021, I was rushed to hospital with what I thought was a kidney stone, but actually turned out to be cancer. I had to take a year off work for multiple surgeries, for chemotherapy, for recovery. Even if I wanted to work, I physically couldn't. Now, skipping to the good news, I did survive, obviously. This isn't like an AI replica of me. But interestingly, my business also thrived. In fact, it made more money than ever. Now, this isn't a video about beating cancer. It's about what getting sick forced me to build, which is a business that runs without me. I want to show you how I rebuilt everything and what you can change too. I'll show you what I kept and what we do now, and I'll show you how I manage the business today, balancing life and health and work. Now, you're probably thinking that you could never take a year off from your business, and right now you're probably right. But with a few small tweaks, we can do this together and hopefully give you the time off that you need and deserve while your business grows without you. Because if you don't build a business that works without you, one day it will stop working with you. So before everything changed, I was at the absolute peak of business owner productivity. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., I'd smash out a workout for an hour or two, and then I'd get straight into work. I was writing daily emails to my list. Each week, I'd film and edit a YouTube video. I was recording a podcast every week. I'd run live coaching calls. Every single day, I'd talk with my clients in my private group. I'd have sales calls, like a couple a day, sometimes more. I was hosting free training sessions for my audience. Once a month, I'd run webinars. I was writing blog posts every week. If I wasn't writing a book, I'd be creating a new course. I was still building funnels, some for myself and some for clients. And I was always saying yes to something. Guest podcasts, webinars, other people's audiences. I loved being productive. I prided myself on just how much I could get done. And I always thought kind of the mantra was always like, if I just keep pushing, I'll hit that next level. I had no idea how close I was to hitting a wall that I just couldn't push through. And then one day I was rushed into hospital. And at first they thought it was a kidney stone. It turns out that my kidney had actually ruptured inside my body. It burst open. The pain was unbelievable. I remember the nurse saying to me, like, what's your pain on a scale of 0 to 10? And I was like, if you gave me a scalpel right now, I will cut it out myself with no anesthetic. I had emergency surgery. So I was feeling very groggy. I was sick. I was in a lot of pain, but with lots of painkillers and antibiotics, which everyone knows makes you feel really gross. And that's when the doctor came in and told me that I actually had testicular cancer. Now, at first, this didn't sort of register. And it wasn't until I got home and I remember collapsing basically into my wife's arms. I was in hospital for about a week and came home. And that's when it hit me. And I remember seeing the scans and the reports and the paperwork. And there was like a treatment plan. And I just kind of broke down. And the doctor said, this will take about a year. And he was literally pointing to me in bed. I was like unable to move, and he was like, you're going to be like this on and off for a long time. And at that moment, two things became very, very clear. First, I obviously physically couldn't keep working the way I was. It just wasn't possible. It wasn't going to happen. And second, none of it mattered as much as I thought. Not the money, not the audience, not the next product or course. All that mattered to me was getting better and spending more time with my family. Now, I wish I could say that I let it all go right away, but honestly, I didn't. I actually tried to keep working a little bit. I was trying to keep up the image or the facade of being productive, but the problem is I was doing a bad job of everything, and I knew it, and my team definitely noticed it. But the reality is I was a bit scared that people would forget who I was. I was worried that they'd think I wasn't like the guy with the answers anymore, that if I wasn't Coach Mike, I just sort of like disappear. That loss of identity really hit me harder than the diagnosis. But then something shifted. I asked my coach, Kate, to step in, and she didn't hesitate. And that was the first moment I thought, maybe this can run without me. Maybe my business can run without me. Now, at first, I didn't send some grand announcement to the team. Basically, I was in hospital. I was like completely out of it. I was drugged up. I was barely able to sit like upright. And so I just sent a quick message, something like, look, I've been rushed to hospital. I need to cancel this week's coaching call. It was total damage control. But as I became more lucid, I started giving them updates. And eventually, I sent a longer message saying what had to happen. happen, which was along the lines of, I couldn't work like I used to. We need to bring in more help. And most of all, right now, I needed Kate to take over the coaching. And again, she just leapt in, no hesitation. She took over the next coaching call with like a few minutes notice. She checked in on clients, she handled the materials. She kind of stepped up to it like she'd been doing it all along. Clarence, who's been with me for years and is still with me now and is now editing this video. Hey, Clarence. She jumped straight in too. She went through old content, she curated it and repurposed what worked. She took over our admin. We had someone else step in to manage the finances and operations. And I started using an exercise that we call the stop list. So we decided that my core role, my core job, and the only thing I had to do every day was to get well. That was it. Anything else, like emails, refunds, customer support, content, team issues, all that kind of stuff, it went on the list. It was a list of things I had to stop doing to focus on getting well. If I did have to explain something, I just recorded a Loom video. But honestly, I'd already made Looms for sort of every process over the last 5 years. I just got into the habit of recording it. The team had everything they needed. We also cut everything down to 3 core priorities: daily emails to our list, YouTube content, and coaching calls. So there were no more podcasts, there were no more webinars, there were no more blog posts or speaking gigs or interviews. And at first I was terrified. This was probably the scariest part of the whole process because I kind of thought the business might just fade away if we cut out 2/3, 3/4 of the activities. But then Clarence re-edited an old video and she turned it into something new and published it. No one noticed. Our views kept up, our leads kept up, our sales kept up. Then she started resending old emails, and again, no one said anything. And that's when I realized, this actually might work. And then Kate ran her first coaching call, a full coaching call with the reminders and the worksheets and Zoom links, and everything worked. And I remember I was sat on the sofa recovering. I think I just had maybe my abdomen cut open or something, in a lot of pain. And I remember watching the team run it all without me. And I literally said out loud, I think I've just made myself redundant from my own company. And I smiled, not because I was out of the picture, but because I'd finally cracked something that I'd been trying to figure out for years, which was how to scale without burning out. Now, the scariest part of all this wasn't necessarily letting go of control. It was letting go of who I thought I had to be. I was the guy who always showed up. I was the guy who always had an answer. I was the guy who never stopped working. But now I had to become something else. And that turned out to be the best thing that I could have ever done. After I recovered, I didn't go back to the way things were. We kept the stop list. Now the core role changed from get well, and for a while it was like running sales calls. Now it's just, come up with amazing YouTube ideas. That's my job. That's what I should do every single day. If I catch myself doing something that isn't that core role, it goes on the stop list. I record a Loom of me doing it once and then I just pass it on. And everyone in the team got a core role too, and the freedom to own it. Ja, who started as like an admin assistant, is now our finance and ops director. Clarence edits all of our content and is in charge of our YouTube. Kate led the coaching for way longer than I expected. And when we moved on, we changed our entire business model. We moved to a 4-day work week. Everyone's got unlimited holidays. If someone in the team needs support from insurance to dental work, surgery, legal fees, whatever, we just help, because health isn't just my priority. It's actually the business model. And the funny thing is, none of this hurt our revenue. When I cut out podcasts and social media and extra content, nothing happened. The sales still came in. The machine still worked. When our marketing and copy team left, again, there wasn't a massive dip. What surprised me most wasn't just that the business survived, it's that other people were often better at my job than I was. If I gave someone a clear role and the freedom to do it their way, they would do amazing work, and they do amazing work, and they still do amazing work. These days, life is a lot slower. It's way more focused. I don't try and juggle 100 things. I just try and spend my time thinking of YouTube videos, basically, and that's it. The business runs, my team handles everything, I get to rest more, and I've learned something important. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing less. If you're watching this and wondering, well, could I actually build a business that works without me? The answer is yes, but don't start with hiring. Start with you. Figure out your core role. Write a stop list. Every time something comes up that isn't your job, write it down. Record how you do it. Pass it on. It's not a switch. It's a slider, and you can start sliding it today, because if you don't build a business that works without you, one day it won't work with you. Now, I still get regular scans and x-rays and blood tests. My immune system has taken a hit from chemo, and I'm still managing the after effects of that. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. Part of the treatment was removing a testicle, which, yes, is not brilliant, but I'll take that over the other alternative. The postman was doubly shocked when I answered the door naked accidentally that time after the op. But to answer a question I get from a lot of other men, no, it didn't affect my testosterone, right? And no, I don't need your supplement stack. Thank you very much. My body adapted. So did my business. This didn't just change how I work, it essentially changed how I live. And now I hope that you don't have to go through what I did to learn this same lesson. And so yeah, that's how I ran a $100,000 business while fighting cancer. Not by working harder, but by finally letting go of everything that didn't matter. And if you're wondering what the actual business model looks like for now, for a multi-six-figure business, you should probably watch this video right here to see exactly how I make my money, build my sales funnels, and make all my sales, all while doing absolutely none of the work.